I'm Francis from North America Consulting in Vietnam and Southeast Asia. We're back here to talk this time about, we're going through the challenges in hiring skilled foreign tradesmen in Canada. And this time we're going to talk about training and equipment. The training is somewhat similar for the average welder here as the average welder in Canada. Some welders are self-taught. Some have worked at small shops, beginning as a helper and ending up welding. Some have gone to vocational school. You're going to have some certificates sprinkled in among all these guys that you might look at as a foreign worker, temporary foreign worker. There is some standardized testing, which is good, that you can use. You've got CWB, which we're an authorized CWB test center here, so we use that. You'll get AWS testing. You'll have in-house testing. Sometimes you'll have European testing firms if it's a European manufacturer that they're working for. So these can help give you some indication that what training they've gone through and has it been effective. There are some parts of their training that are missing for you, and you should try to get this done before they arrive, if in fact they are missing this. A lot of, in Asia in general, not just Southeast Asia, but you will get a lot of guys who are very good welders working on one part of the project, but are not often or ever asked to work solo on more than one part. Fabricators are more rare here than they are in Canada. I mean, thankfully there's a whole lot more people here, so we can find them, or we make them. We can train them in the things they need to know. They are very good at working on one portion of a project because they've been trained that way. If you need them most Canadians and Americans, companies, they need them to work without supervision, and often you're looking for fabricators just like everyone else. There's never enough. So you have to remember that most of these guys will not be trained in fabrication officially. You get guys who have opened their own shops, guys who do automotive repair, machine repair, sort of self-trained millwrights. These guys can do that. All they need to do is learn to read drawings, and they can fabricate. Training on cutting torches sometimes it's almost a given in Canada, but there are some guys here who have never used it. They've received the cut metal and then they weld it. So you're going to want to make sure people are trained in torch cutting. Training in machines here will be basic. You're not going to find guys who can operate your flatbed easily. They're going to be guys they can do basic stuff. They can grind and drill, and sometimes they will have worked in sheet metal. They can use bending machines. You're not going to get them to do much more. We can train that in, or if you need a highly technical fabricator, it just may not be the right place for you to find somebody. You're going to have to go to Eastern Europe or somewhere else than Southeast Asia, because it's very difficult to find. The guys during their training they're not generally given much chance to experiment or to learn on their own. So these are things that we have to bring in. When you have new equipment, you're going to have to be sure that they learn it. They're not used to that process of just having new equipment brought in and say, here, now weld with this. So you're going to want to make sure that they learn it, make sure they know the manuals. If you have manuals for anything, you can get it translated. We translate for our guys, just so to be 100% sure that they are trained in the equipment that they're going to be using. And to equipment in general, the guys here will be using a little bit older equipment, a little bit simpler equipment, and they may take a little bit of time, a few weeks, to get up to speed on what you have, especially if you're a company that renews your equipment often, and you're always going to have only 1-2-year-old equipment. You should be sure that they know what they're doing. You may want to give them a week or two of instruction with another welder or a shop steward or supervisor to explain and be clear that they know how to use the equipment you are using. be it welders, machines, measuring, any kind of measuring instruments beyond, normal fillet gauges or just the manual ones. Any electronic measuring, you want to make sure that these guys can use that, because it's likely that they have not used it. These are all simple things to teach and learn, but you just have to be sure about it. Don't assume that they know any equipment that's been born in the last few years, because maybe they don't. That's about it. I think the welding itself, and in most trades, the actual core trade is going to be okay. Machinists, they're going to be able to use the machine. Welders are going to be able to run good welds. This is not an issue for these guys. It's the peripheral issues in training, and it's also going to be the equipment. You just have to be sure that they understand and they know how to use it. As I said in earlier videos, they're ambitious. They're working hard so that they can go work in Canada. And you use this ambition to your advantage by training them a little bit on your own. Companies like us, we can provide some training here that's sort of company specific. If you have specific machines or training that you need that is not sort of normal for most tradesmen, we can do some of that during the visa process. You always have 2 or 3 months between picking the guys and they get there. So you should use this for brushing up training that they're going to need. And whoever you're using for your placement company or recruiter, you should give them a wish list of the equipment and training that you want. And it doesn't mean that you're going to find exactly that person, but you can use that list to find the best person, and then you can fill in the gaps during those 2 or 3 months. And so you will get in your shop a guy who's useful. That's about it. There's not much in equipment training. It's just the core is the same. It's just everything around it. You have to be careful to be sure that they know how to do it. And if not, you just teach them. All right. Next thing we'll talk about is culture in the workplace, in case that's a concern. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.